Okay, I started recording. I think so, yeah. So,
Yeah.
good morning, Johnny. How are you? We're gonna show you some videos taken during the lockdown and after the lockdown, and we're gonna have to ask you some questions for our critical investigation project. So we're doing this research with our tutor Gavin, and we're leading this research to see how the people interactions were changing because of the COVID-19 with the public spaces in Coventry. So I'm gonna drop you in the chat box here a link to see it on YouTube, and you just take your time. You can scroll around. It's a 360 video. You can scroll side to side and pause the video and then look around, okay?
Okay.
I sent you the link.
All right, I've got it. Okay, watching the video now.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never seen that so empty. Whoa, it's eerie. Are you expecting a horde of zombies to come at you? Oh, that's where they found that mural. Mosaic. Whoa. Where is everybody? Oh, a car. Another. Go home, you're on lockdown. And you.
Sorry?
I saw a person. There's another person. Go home. Ah, poor IKEA. They're back in your house. Oh, that's the 8 o'clock clapping. Oh, I see what you did. You put your camera on the top of a car.
It's not me, it's Gavin who take the video.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Gavin is our tutor.
Oh, okay. Right, it's finished.
Finished.
Yeah.
So, the first question, when I say lockdown, what comes to your mind?
Shut doors. Don't go out. unless you have to. And slightly oppression, but I know why they've done it, if you know what I mean.
Tell me more.
So, like with oppression, it's kind of, I've probably seen too many movies, but it's like the government trying to control the people. But I know why they have it, because it's to control this disease and try and save people's lives, really. But that's what lockdown means to me, really.
So you think the government, they were controlling people for their safety or for the sake like of controlling people?
I think for their safety, but when I hear the word lockdown, probably because I've seen too many movies, I think of the negative aspect of it as well. But I think they've done this lockdown and the previous one for the good of the people and to try and control COVID rather than control the people.
Okay. So I have a next question for you that says, what was walking outside like for you during the lockdown?
It was eerie, like I kind of showed when I was looking at those videos. It's really strange seeing those areas with no people in them. I'm so used to going out into, if I went into Coventry and it's a sea of people and you're trying not to walk into everyone, and that bit by the lower precinct, by the fountain, there's always those food carts there, the donut man and the one that sells the bratwurst, and it's so alive with people, and it's really quite eerie to see it empty and with nobody there.
Okay. And what was positive or did you enjoy most about being outside in central Coventry during the lockdown?
To be honest, in the lockdown, I didn't actually really go into central Coventry. I had no reason to. But speaking about Warwick, you could hear things that you couldn't hear before. Like we've got some parks, and you could actually like properly hear the birds, and there's a river going through it,
Okay.
and you could probably hear the water, and it was nice and peaceful. Less cars and less people means less noise.
Mm-hmm.
It was just nicer. It was nice and peaceful.
Okay. And by that, I understand that you didn't come to visit some public spaces in Coventry during the lockdown. You just saw them in the video now.
Yes.
Okay. So, what was negative or did you dislike the most about being outside in the city during the lockdown?
Um, Probably whenever you saw a person, you automatically suspicious of them. It's like, should you really be out? Have you got it? Should I stay really far away from you? That kind of thing. Yeah, that's probably the only real negative from it. I mean, I didn't really go out very much during the lockdown anyway, because I'm actually a key worker, so I was still going to work
Uh,
during the week. And it was only the weekends that I could really go out and do anything. So I was just going for like I think we were allowed to go out once a day for exercise. So I was just doing that really.
okay.
But yeah, whenever I saw someone, I was like, "What are you doing?"
So by that, I understand that how were the interactions with other people in public spaces. So every time you see, do you feel like before the lockdown and during the lockdown, your interactions with people has changed automatically? Yeah, that's very normal. But how do you feel like, not you, not just you, like generally the interactions with people? How did you start seeing people acting, the interactions between everyone in the public spaces?
So obviously everybody was staying further apart than they were before.
Mhm.
And you wouldn't be seeing large groups of people. And then if you did see a large group of people, you'd think to yourself, you shouldn't be a large group of people, because we've been told that
Mhm.
don't gather in large groups because you can spread it and all of that. Also, I don't know about you, but when I'm walking and you see somebody walking the other way, um, I like smile or say good morning or whatever. You tended to not do that because of how they might see you, and you don't want them to react badly to you trying to interact with them
Oh.
because they might be scared of the spread and that sort of thing. Do you get what I mean? You're just kind of wary.
Have corona and then you're trying to smile to them to just like
Or you might have it and not know it, and you're spreading it.
how are you?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how are you? Well, I was fine, but you just give me corona, so no, I'm not.
Oh my god. So Johnny, can you tell me a space in public spaces or a place in Coventry that you have a relationship to?
Um, yeah, the Coventry Market.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's a very old relationship. My grandma used to take me there to get my granddad's dinner every Saturday. He used to get fish from the Coventry Fish Market,
Okay.
and yeah, we used to always go there. I always remember the smell, and I absolutely hated the smell. But there was a bakery in there, and on the way out, she used to always buy me an ice bun from the bakery.
And how do you feel that lockdown have any effect on this relationship or this feeling that you had for the market, about that place or about any other place? Maybe like how do you feel that your relationship has been changing?
Well, with the lockdown, obviously, I kind of stayed away from it um, because it is quite an enclosed space. There's not a lot of room in there,
Yeah.
so you would change your plans and change where you would get things from to avoid going to enclosed spaces where there's more risk of being in close contact with people.
Yeah. Tell me more.
So uh, more
Like
local to myself.
an example for me, after closing the gyms, and I'm a very fit person. I like to train, and for me, working out daily and going to the gym was something like a need, not just like something for leisure. And after the lockdown came, and I had no substitution for the gym, so I had to go out and be more in contact with nature to like have a run or train, and just like doing the movements with nature and in nature, and it just changed my relationship to. And now I just like, I prefer if I can train outside. After the lockdown, I learned that I don't need the gym or the equipment of the gym to be fit. I realized that you can just use anything that you were perceiving them differently before the lockdown. But for example, now I just go to the stairs near me in the cathedral, and I just go up and down, go up and down. They're like my stair treadmill now. So it's just this kind of things. Do you feel like a certain place that really you feel like your relationship relationship to it has changed after because of the lockdown? Maybe like you start using it differently, or maybe you perceived it differently, or maybe you felt like since now it's empty, you feel like more in control over it, or maybe it's like yours. For example, for me, I used to go to the parking near my ex accommodation. There was like a parking. It used to be full of cars, but now since it's empty, I started using it also for like running and maybe sitting there. Sometimes we used to go there just like sit and eat. It's like our space now. So that's kind of thing I want you to answer me if you feel like a kind of a public space or any space in Coventry that you used to use them in a way and then it changed in the lockdown.
Um, I suppose the the water feature outside of the Belgrade Theatre,
Mm-hmm.
that I did actually go to have a walk around Coventry once, and I felt like around there, because there's the gym and there's all of those restaurants and there's the big car park as well. There's lots of people going in and out and walking through it, and it's quite a narrow corridor. And I never noticed how beautiful it is
Yeah.
in that big open area. And yeah, I just found myself, I think I sat there for like half an hour, just kind of sat thinking. And it was nice and peaceful. And that's not something you usually think of for that particular area of Coventry. It's usually so busy.
Okay. The last question for this video is during lockdown, where in the city did you want to be?
I really wanted a KFC, but
But yeah, that's when the restaurants were still like closed, right?
yeah,
We had to cook.
yeah, there was that. I saved a lot of money, but yeah, because we haven't got a KFC down near Leamington and Warwick. So like my closest one is Coventry, and I really wanted one and I couldn't have one. It sounds really bad, but when you can't have something, you want it more. And yeah, I really fancy KFC.
But is there like any place you would wish to be there? Like it could be another city. It could be like for some people, like they miss their families. They wish they could be like locked or stuck in some place else or in another city because they, I don't know, they maybe would have preferred to be with their parents, with their beloved ones, or maybe in another city, or I don't know. So that's an additional question for you, please.
Yeah, I mean, my parents are both vulnerable. They both got heart problems, so I couldn't go and see them as much as I wanted to. I did go round there, I think between March and July, was it, or August, when they started relaxing. Um, I probably saw them about 4 times in those 4 months, and each time it was like so obviously socially distanced. And uh, I think one time we just kind of stood in the garden and chatted for a bit.
Mhm.
Um, that was really strange, and I really missed seeing my parents. I mean, I spoke to them most days, but it was really strange for me to not be able to see them as often as I'd obviously want to.
Yeah, we all did. So
It's not as bad as for you. I mean, yours are in a different country. So.
yeah, but I mean, like, I was supposed to be there in May and go there after my uni finishes to see them, but lockdown was there, and then I was afraid that I will just like I could have traveled even though it was a hard procedure back then, but I was just also afraid to maybe carry corona and take it to them, and yeah, so.
Also, being
Like
on a
I'm
plane.
stuck. I just don't know what's gonna happen next. So I wasn't sure if I'm gonna see them again, what will happen. So this feeling that I was really far away, like in another country and by myself, it was really hard. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna drop you now the second link for the post-lockdown video.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna give you some time.
Okie dokie. Which one is it? Top one or the bottom one? Oh no, that's a lockdown one. Oh, hold on. What happened there?
What happened?
Did you send it again? I think I've just got rid of it.
No, I sent a different link.
Where does it go? I've lost the link. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, there's people in this one. Not very many, but there are a few people.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's people sat by the statue, but that's where I like to sit. Oh, I can see Gavin. I forgot how much of a building site Coventry City Centre is. So even though there wasn't lockdown, it was still not very busy. Oh, there's quite a few people there. Was that a kind of a protest thing?
Yeah, this is the Black Lives Matters.
Oh, right. Okay, I couldn't make out what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it, finished.
Finito.
Yeah, it was a bit strange. I was expecting it to be a little bit busier than that, but I suppose with the lockdown was still eased, but people were still obviously staying away.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to start with the questions now. The first question is, what was walking outside like for you during the time when the lockdown restrictions were eased?
Well, because they were only eased, it was very I don't want to say scary, but you were very cautious to keep your distance from people, and obviously with there being more people, that made it more difficult.
Yeah.
And the rules were a little bit ambiguous. So there were some people who were walking outside with their masks on, but the rules as I understood them, when you're outside, you're okay as long as you keep your distance from people. Make sure you wear them on you when you're inside. So you'd always put your mask on when you go inside a shop. And then if you saw people in the shop without a mask on, you kind of want to say, "Oi, where's your mask?" But then So we don't like confrontation, so we'll just like glare at them for a bit. And yeah, it's strange because you don't want to start a fight with somebody, but you're also like, I'm following the rules, why aren't you? And it's
Yeah.
a bit strange.
Yeah. It's like you put the mask and then you lower it just
Yeah.
under your nose so that you feel like I'm wearing the mask, but I want to breathe. That's what
So
I used to do,
you
especially if
probably get it as well.
wearing the glasses. Then you need to just silent here a wipe and do this.
Yeah, that's my worst thing. I'll be reading something like I went into Tesco's and I was reading something. I think there was cooking instructions on something, and my glasses fogged up so bad. I really can't read. I'm just not going to buy it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So, what was positive or did you enjoy most about being outside in central Coventry or during the end of the lockdown?
Uh, the thing I enjoyed most about being outside was being outside
Yeah.
and
Seeing
actually managing to get
them.
some fresh air and going and it's going to back to normality.
Yeah.
Well, some semblance of it anyway. Obviously not complete normality, but it could be what the new normal is. We don't know yet. And looking back on it in hindsight, it might be, we might think that they were um, too strong with the restrictions, but we might look back and think, well, they could have done more. We don't know that. So we're kind of in the middle of it at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, but it was nice to actually get out and about and do things, and you you don't realize what you've got until you can't do it.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
even as simple as just going into a shop and looking at stuff, you couldn't do that during the lockdown. So it's the little things like that that you just don't realize. And meeting my friend for lunch, couldn't do that. Um, so yeah, you you learn to appreciate the things that you just took for granted a bit more.
It's true. And then you discover who really matters at this time. Like who
Yeah,
would you risk your life to see them? For example, I had a friend, she told me like, listen, I came to see you and I wasn't seeing anyone for the past 2 months. So do you know how much precious you are? I was like, yeah, thank you.
yeah. But just keep your distance.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
But
what was negative
also,
now, or did you dislike the most about being outside in the city during the end of the lockdown period?
um, people that were not not taking note of the rules and the restrictions
Mhm.
and just being inconsiderate to people. So, like, if you were stood in a queue and you're keeping a safe distance to the person in front of you, and then there's somebody behind you who's just like breathing down your neck,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Just like before the lockdown, you wouldn't mind that much because you just think, oh, it's just they're just being an asshole. It's fine. Deal with it. It's just what some people do. Whereas now you're thinking, well, I'm keeping a safe distance to them. Why aren't they doing it to me?
mhm,
And that that kind of thing. You think about things a lot more like that, like keeping like personal space
yeah.
and things like that. So people not considering your personal space
Mhm.
is
Even like
a
when
real,
you're touching stuff, you feel like maybe someone has corona and has been touching this. You feel like you're not allowed to touch like before, you know?
yeah, yeah. And as soon as you leave in a place, you're just like, where's that hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I never carried around hand sanitizer before before this. Like
so
my hands get so dry and cracked, it's horrible.
Yeah. They say even like overusing the hand sanitizers is not good.
Yeah. So I've got I was never one to take care of my hands and stuff before this, but now I've got aloe vera hand cream and hand moisturizer, and I've got hand sanitizer as well. So as soon as my hands start feeling a bit dry, the hand cream goes on. I feel like such a prima donna. It's a very non-manly thing to do, but
So, the next question for you, Johnny. What were interactions with other people like in public spaces in Coventry when the lockdown restrictions were eased?
um, I felt like I was. So, are you talking about like with strangers or with friends?
Friends, strangers, family, like in overall, every interaction you had with other people.
So, like with friends,
Hmm.
I'm a hugger. I'll I'll be like, I'll when I'm walking towards one of my friends, I'm like arms out, give them a hug to say hello type thing. And you couldn't,
Distance.
yeah, pretty much. And I don't kiss them, but yeah, it's a big hug. Um,
Yeah, just like take the kiss.
you haven't seen them for a while,
Yeah.
and you felt like you couldn't really do that
Hmm.
because of especially as they're somebody you care about, you don't want to be a carrier and passing it on to them.
Yeah,
So
that's.
in that way, I don't obviously go around hugging strangers. That would just be weird.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so with meeting friends, obviously couldn't do that. So that was a big change.
Yeah.
Um, seeing and interactions with strangers. So I found that I was actually, so like, say you went to a shop and you're at the checkout or the till or whatever, and you would I would find myself being even more friendly with the people behind the counter because
Mhm.
I know that they're sat there and they're putting themselves at risk
Yeah.
by being there and interacting with people. So I found that I appreciated them more and I was just being more friendly and nice with them than I normally would be. I'd normally be just kind of like, "Hi, how are you? Yeah, thanks." Take my stuff and go. Um, but like I was asking them how their day went and is it really busy and things like that. Just being a bit more friendly to them and people who were out doing their jobs in this climate. Um, normal just strangers that are just walking around on the street, I'd still give them a wide berth and kind of not want to really interact with them just because they're strangers and you just don't know if they've got it or not, and you just kind of find yourself a bit wary of them.
Mhm. Yeah.
Things like
Yeah, it's a responsibility because it's not just about protecting yourself, but it's just about that you could just carry it for other people who just maybe yourself you can just get over it, but some other people they might be more vulnerable to it, and
yeah, exactly.
a sense of guiltness always, like for me, as I'm a very healthy person, like I'm young and everything, I just like, but I don't care if I catch corona. But then when I was like, yeah, I don't care for myself, but I might be the reason for carrying it for other vulnerable people or older people, or yeah, that's true. So
Ourselves.
so did the easing of lockdown have any effect on your relationship too, or feelings about the public spaces in Coventry?
Um, well, the easing of lockdown obviously meant that I could actually go and spend time in them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like about a 20-minute drive for me to get to Coventry. So if I actually wanted to go there, I could. So that's a big change in relationship for me. Um, it's a nice place to just walk around, and like the bit by Cathedral Lanes, by Primark. It's just a really nice open space. And with when I was little, my grandma used to take me into Coventry a lot, and I just have a lot of memories of there. I just really like that little area.
Yeah. The Trinity Walk Street near the Trinity Church.
Yeah, and walking down towards where the town hall is, and that all of that down towards the university campus. I remember when that wasn't the university campus and a lot of it wasn't built. It's just a really nice area to walk around, and you can do a nice long circuit. It's probably around about a mile just walking around it. It's just a really nice place, and obviously it couldn't really do that during a lockdown.
I agree. So, when the easing of lockdown restrictions happened, where in the city did you want to be?
Apart from KFC.
Yeah, apart from KFC.
I'm not sure really. Just being around the centre of Coventry is just nice. So there's no real specific place. I'm just like, oh, lockdown's finished, I can go there. It's just. I like the fountain. The fountain's always nice, especially as around like the really hot summer months, because there's a little ice cream one, that little ice cream truck thing that's there. So
Yeah.
I like to buy an ice cream and sit on the fountain and eat my ice cream.
Okay, lovely. And thinking about public spaces now, what do you expect those spaces to look like? Do you feel like after COVID something's gonna permanently change, or do you think they will ever be totally back as the way they were before?
I think we can expect to see hand sanitizers, hand sanitizing stations at the front of every shop. I can see the plastic screens in front of the checkouts as well. I can't see them going anywhere. I think they'll stay. Little things like contactless payment. That limit's gone up to £45. I don't think they're going to drop that back down again. And with outdoor spaces, I don't think there'll actually be a change in the space, but how people act in that space will change. Like, people are a lot more aware of personal space and keeping your distance from people. And I think you're gonna places like China, and you see people with face masks. You've seen people walking around with face masks on for years and years and years in places like that. And I think you're going to see that carry on here, even past all this, when Corona eventually, hopefully, dies down and they've got a cure for it. There's always going to be something else. So I think people will still walk around with masks on. I did actually see somebody last week walking around. He had a full face gas mask on, and he had an oxygen tank on his back. I think that was a bit of overkill.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that wasn't in Coventry there. That was a Warwick madman, not a Coventry madman. But yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing much of that. But I think you'll still see a lot of people in face masks.
Okay. Nice. I think the last question before we end this. Is there anything important about your experience of lockdown and being in public spaces that we didn't discuss or that you think is important?
Not really that I can think of. And I just think people have become a lot more appreciative of key workers now.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the clap for the NHS thing was a really positive thing. I think people are a lot more appreciative now of nurses and ambulance crews and things like that. But also they're a lot more appreciative of what people working in shops do. And myself working for a courier company, we've got van drivers who do their deliveries and stuff, and people's perceptions of van drivers and things and delivery drivers has changed as well, because they just took them for granted before. But with the lockdown, I don't know if you know, but a lot of people moved to using internet shopping.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm one of them.
Well,
I'm one of them. Actually, they banned in the normal shops, you're not allowed to try them on. So you have to just like choose them, buy them.
Yeah.
Then if you don't like them, you have to go. And I was like, this is a whole procedure. And then like, so yeah,
Places do free returns now on the internet. You might as well just
yeah,
buy it in a couple of sizes and try them on and send the
yeah,
wrong thing.
it's easier. Yeah,
And so yeah, I think a lot of people they appreciate that side of things a lot more now
yeah.
as well. Because being key workers, we didn't have any time off at all during the lockdown. We weren't furloughed, we weren't self-isolating or anything. We had to carry on working, and our workload went through the roof because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're after more to do with the public spaces and things like that, but I think the main positive that's coming out of lockdown is how we appreciate other people and what they do for us. I think that's it. I'll probably think of something in about half an hour, but
Yeah, yeah. It took around like 45 minutes.
that's not too bad.
Yeah, but we're done. Thank you so much. I'm gonna stop recording.
Okay.